Why, hello there everyone, my name is Mr. Edgetastic and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we left off by finishing the first investigation of Turnabout Samurai. And in this episode, we will be getting started on the first trial. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show that at the 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone to have committed the heinous crime. The evidence presented in the trial will point to this fact. I see. Very well, I'd like you to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. He's going right for the guns here, with our good friend, Detective Gumshoe. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works in the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, onto the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until afternoon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day at 5 p.m. Production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. Oh my. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case, in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? No thanks. I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Alright. Your Honor, the case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that one question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Edgeworth's going straight for the person that I don't want to voice because my throat is killing me. But you know what? For the people! Will the witness declare her name?
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Your name, please.
Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. See, Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Randy. Oh my. Randy Oldback, dearie.
So just call me Grandma. It's part of my name.
Oh God. Oh gosh. She never changes. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on in the stand.
I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct?
Yes,
I was. To get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Alrighty, witness's account.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading towards the studio.
Huh. That's pretty solid testimony. I wonder how we're gonna get a contradiction out of that. Gotta get my notes. You know, you'd think I'd get ready before I record and have these notes out, but I don't. Anyway. Let's go. You saw the defendant then, Very well, let's begin the cross-examination of Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, cross-examination, witness's account, let's go! On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Basically, we want to look here. Keep looking until the murder happened at 2:30 p.m. and interested me because you gotta keep looking, keep looking. It's Powers, that man right there, and he was heading towards the studio. Notice how this is the last one. Now, if you think about it, remember that picture we got at the end of the day the other day? That's not it at all. There. Powers photo, check. Now, where in this picture does it prove that it is Jack, or that it is Will Powers? That's a trick question because it doesn't prove anywhere in this picture that it's Will Powers. Just because someone had the Steel Samurai outfit on does not mean it's him. You have to excuse me, I don't really know what that is. Alrighty, and let's present. Let me get this straight, old bag, Mrs. Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Tokyo. Mrs. Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right?
Yeah. Well, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of Steel Samurai, but that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai! That face was priceless.
I know that! I wasn't born yesterday!
No one in this court is accusing me of that, witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you did not have proof that the person in this photo was Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man!
Of course I have proof!
What? Huh? Even Edward is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make sure all information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I to suppose everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you! Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look.
Huh. Wow, old Windbag has even left Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. Alrighty, we're on to the next testimony. The man in the photo. I never say
anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy?
Huh. So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Phoenix, I don't think we want that, but okay. Alrighty, the man in the photo. I'm not doing her voices again. Okay, so that morning during the run-through of the action scene, saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. So, we should press this statement. He broke a prop?
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
His samurai spear? The murder weapon?
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write this down in the court record. Samurai spear updated in the court record.